Hello everyone, this is God and Sinner with Matthew. Today we are going back to the New Testament. I was going to keep going, but some stuff unfolded today, and this is where God's led me to. We're going to go into Ephesians chapter 4. I didn't know this till this is where I was going to be at to maybe an hour ago, not even that long ago. I've just been praying, and there's just, some stuff going on that led me here. So we'll go to verse 4, chapter 1. Therefore, the prisoner of the Lord, beseech you to walk worthy of the calling with which you were called, with all lowliness and gentleness, with long suffering, bearing with one another in love, endeavoring to keep the unity of the Spirit in the bond of peace. I'm going to stop there. It's saying that once all this has happened, that you've accepted Christ in your life, and we've been baptized, now we have become a prisoner to God, because we're having to do things that we don't want to do, because we're supposed to be this new person. I do stuff that I don't want to do, and there's something going on right now that I don't want to do, and I'm gonna keep praying about it. It may end up being that's what I got to do. It's this whole long suffering, bearing with one another in love, endeavoring to keep the unity of the Spirit of the bond of peace. So sometimes we are called to do things we do not want to do, or that we're scared to do, or that we're just scared to do. We're scared to get back into certain things, but sometimes things just pop up for reasons, and you can't explain it. It's sometimes God takes you away from a certain area or person or things at some point, and then some reason it does a 360, and it may be teaching another lesson, or if you to pass another test. Who knows? Everybody's got on their own walk they have to walk. So I'm going to go to verse 4 now. There is one body and one Spirit, just as you were called in one hope of your calling, one Lord, one faith, one baptism, one God and Father of all, who is above all, and through all, and in you all. So it's clearly stating one Lord, one faith, one baptism. It doesn't say one Lord, one faith, one prayer. No, that prayer ain't fitting in here. We pray, but that's not what saves the Lord. And it takes faith to go get baptized. It's right here. One Lord, one faith, one baptism. One God and one Father of all, who is above all, and through all, and in you all. Once you've been baptized, you've received Christ, and He is the Father of all the Christians. This is the guy we have to follow and do our due diligence and learning who He is, and staying in communication with Him. And I'm guilty about not staying in communication with Him as much as I should. Especially with these sermons and stuff, man. I'm telling you, it comes down to the last minute, and I'm like, okay, God, where you want me at? And that's not the way it should be. That's not the way it's designed for this to work. It's just the way that I've been doing it. I feel like Allen Iverson. I am spitting out some really good stuff and some really good truths about what this word says, but I'm not practicing like Kobe Bryant. I'm not practicing like Billy Graham. I'm not trying to compare myself to him, but But he practiced, and I'm Allen Iverson, and I hate to admit it, but if I told you something different, I'd be lying to you. I don't want to be a liar to nobody. So we can go to verse 7 now. But to each one of us grace was given according to the measure of Christ's gift. Therefore, he says, when he ascended on high, he led captivity captive and gave gifts to men. Now this he ascended, what does it mean but that he also first descended into the lower parts of the earth? He who descended is also one who ascended far above all the heavens, that he might fill all things. So this is where some stuff gets a little confusing, and I talked about a couple of I don't know, maybe a couple months ago or maybe a month ago, somewhere between like a couple weeks to a couple months ago, about where people say that he supposed to went down there and defeated the devil, and this is one of them verses where it sort of it doesn't necessarily say that's what happened, but it says he ascended. What does it mean that he also first descended into the lower parts of the earth? So it sounds like that Jesus did go to hell for some point, and we're going to see if it says anything else. I've read over this briefly. My mind wasn't completely on it. I got stuff going on in my head right now, and I'm trying to get through this, and this is where God's led me to. So I should have an answer by the time I get through doing this video on the prayer. We'll go to verse 11 now. And he himself gave some to be apostles, some prophets, some evangelists, and some pastors and teachers, for the equipping of the saints for the work of the ministry, for the edifying of the body of Christ. So he's gave everybody special gifts, and I'm not sure exactly where I fall in this gift thing, because I have received a gift, and I have been called to do what I'm doing. I don't know whether you call me an evangelist. I don't know whether you call me a pastor or a prophet. I mean, not a prophet, but a teacher. I know I'm not a prophet. I'll never say I'm a prophet. Evangelist, I don't know. Pastor, I don't know. Teacher, I don't know. Maybe I'm sort of in the mix of some of that, pieces of some of that. I'm not great by no means, but man, God has gifted me to where this word is very clear to me. And I try to speak it very clear to everybody, whoever's watching. Should I be able to understand what's going on with the word and what I'm saying? I try not to use no trickery or no kind of con in what I do. What God allows me to do. It's not really what I do; it's what God allows me to do. I'm going to go to verse 13. Till we all come to unity of the faith and of the knowledge of the Son of God, to a perfect man, to be measured of the stature of the fullness of Christ, that we should no longer be children, tossed to and fro, and carried about every wind of doctrine, by the trickery of men, and the cunning craftiness of deceitful plotting, but speaking the truth in love. May we grow up in all things into him is the head, which is Christ. So if they're speaking anything other than what Christ has taught throughout this Bible, they're in trickery. They're into trickery of men. This whole prosperity preaching, that's a trickery of men. This whole sinner's prayer is a trickery of men. They're trying to get us to be. I even seen. It was something I was really happy when I first seen it. They said like 10,000 people got baptized down there in California, Florida. I think it was Florida, and it's like, everybody was showing their public public affection for Christ, and that's not what the baptism is. It's not a public affection. Quit saying that. People quit saying that it's a public affection, because it's not. It's not what it is. It's what God has. It's what God has taught. He said, one God, one. I'm gonna go back to it. One body, one Spirit. I don't know. One faith, one baptism, one God, and one Father of all. They don't say that it's just for show. It's not for show. The baptism is the way. It clearly states it here. I'm tired of people saying, "Oh, that's just for public show. You ain't got to do it. You can just say the little prayer. That's all you got to do." That's BS, and I hate to say it, but it is what it is. People are lying to you when they tell you that the sinner's prayer is the end all be all. It's not. It's the baptism. So we're going to go verse 16. For whom the whole body joined and knit together by every joint supplies, according to the effective work by which every part does its share, causes growth of the body for the edifying of itself in love. So all of us are supposed to be working together, doing something. You know, maybe you're just making coffee at the church. Maybe you're taking care of the kids at church. Maybe you've donated extra sum for this or that. You know, maybe you just greet people at the door, and you know, maybe you walk the old people to their cars and make sure they get in and out okay. You know, each person, or maybe you're the pastor, or maybe you're a deacon. Maybe you cook the meal for the church. You know, there's all kind of different ways that we can work together for the body of Christ. And it doesn't necessarily even have to be in church. You know, I've said I've got this situation that I may be of service to somebody, but it's, you know, sometimes you can't get wrapped into stuff. You know, sometimes you gotta not get wrapped into it, and so that's what. You got to pray about stuff when stuff comes around, because you don't know. You got to make sure that it is of God, and if it is of God, then you've got to do it. You need to do it. And if it's not of God, then God should reveal it to you, and not for us to be, you know, doing what we want to do, and let God's will be what happens. That's what I pray. I really pray God's will's done in my life and whoever the rest of the world's life. So I'm going to go to verse 17 now. This I say therefore, and testify in the Lord, that you should no longer walk as the rest of the Gentiles walk, in the futility of their mind, having their understanding darkened, being alienated from the life of God, because of the ignorance that is in them, because the blindness of their heart, who, being past feeling, they given themselves over to lewdness, to work all uncleanliness with greediness. Okay, so we are not supposed to walk as the unsaved. We have a higher calling. Once we've been saved, we have a higher calling, and we shouldn't be in this darkness. And because of the blindness of their heart, we shouldn't have blindness of our heart, and which we still do though. Like sometimes your heart will tell you to do something, and it ain't necessarily what's supposed to be done, or it's like you're thinking with the other parts, you know. Maybe it ain't your heart. Maybe it's your brain, or maybe it's your private parts. I mean, you know, there's all kind of different things that can convince you into doing things that's not of God. So, like our thing is to not be blindness of our heart. Who being past feeling have given themselves over to lewdness, and work all uncleanness and with greediness. We have to make sure we're not being greedy in what we're doing. Like when you go to help somebody, it's not to be not for any particular reason, but just to help. Don't be looking for something, and that's where I've got me in trouble in the past, because I've done that. I mean, I've helped people out just to help them, and then I've helped people out expecting something in return, and that's not the right way. It's not the right way to be helping somebody expecting something in return. Sometimes it's really just best not to help them if you are expecting something in return. It's hard. This flesh wants what it wants, so I'm not going to try to tell you any of this stuff's easy. So we're going to go to verse 20 now. But you have not so learned Christ. If indeed you have heard him and have been taught by him, as the truth is in Jesus, that you put off concerning your former conduct. The old man which grows corrupt according to the deceitful lust, and be renewed in the spirit of your mind, that you put on your new man, which was created according to God in true righteousness and holiness. So there's a fight between the old man and the new man. Once we've been baptized, we're supposed to be walking newness of life and giving away our old sins, our old lust, our old greed, our old envy. But that stuff, not to say that stuff don't creep back up, but we're supposed to be working towards being a better man, a better woman every day of our life. That's what this is talking about. I'm going to read this again. But you have not so learned Christ, if indeed you have heard him, and you have been taught by him, as the truth is in Jesus, that you put off concerning your former conduct, the old man which grows corrupt according to the deceitful lust, and be renewed in the spirit of your mind, that you put on a new man, which was created according to God, in truth, righteousness, and holiness. We're supposed to be living towards the righteousness and holiness, and breaking away from that old man. It's hard. Sometimes it's a daily struggle. Sometimes it's a minutely struggle. Sometimes it can go longer than that. Days. Maybe you might get a week. I don't think I ever got past a week of not falling into some of this old mentality or old thinking. It's just hard. It's because you get baptized doesn't mean it make you a superhuman Christian. It's because you go to church every Sunday doesn't make you superhuman. All of us has fallen short of the glory of God, and all of us will continue to fall short throughout our life. We're going to go to verse 25. Therefore, putting away lying, let each one of you speak truth with his neighbor, for we are members of one another. Be angry and do not sin. Do not let the sun go down on your wrath, nor give place to the devil. Let him who stole steal no longer, but let him labor, working with his hands what is good, that he may have something to give him who has need. So it's telling us it's okay to get angry, just don't sin. Do not let the sun go down on your wrath. It's okay to get angry. It's not okay to sin. And it's not okay to stay angry. It's okay to be angry. Just don't sin when you get angry. Don't do stuff out of vengeance or and I've done that. I've did stuff to get back at people. I have. Now I haven't done that in quite some time that I can recall. I'm not going to say that I hadn't, but it's been quite some time, especially since I quit drinking and drugging. Now I have since I've been sober. I have done some vengeful things. Now, was I walking as close to Jesus as I am now? No, I wasn't. I really try to put on this whole armor of God, and I really try to pray and try to have understanding that I'm supposed to be on His team and not the devil's team. No, because it's talking about all that right here. So we'll go to verse 29 now. Let no corrupt word proceed out of your mouth, but what is good for necessary edification, that it may impart grace to the hearers. And do not grieve the Holy Spirit of God, by whom you were sealed for the day of redemption. Let all bitterness, wrath, anger, clamor, and evil speaking be put away from you with all malice. And be kind to one another, tender-hearted, forgiving one another, even as God in Christ forgave you. So we got to forgive people just as Christ has forgiven us. Sometimes that can be hard. And it's not to say don't forget, and not say don't give people second or third or fourth chances. It's saying that we're supposed to forgive people like that, and we are supposed to give people chances after chances after chances. But we also don't want to keep doing things that's going to hurt us by helping, and keep going out of our way to be there to save somebody. You know, so it's just something you got to pray about yourself. If you're going through something like that, that you just listen to God, and no matter what anybody else says, doesn't really matter. Just like, you know, I know this is not on the subject what we just got on, but you know, I seen some nasty comments. Hulk Hogan died 2 days ago. Yeah, it was 2 days ago he died, or yesterday. It was yesterday or 2 days ago. I think it was 2 days ago he died. And I've been just reading, you know, stuff under these memes and these these shorts, and people's really being hateful toward him, saying he shouldn't get into heaven. Like there was pictures of him getting to heaven with seeing all the other wrestlers and stuff. It ain't none of our place to say whether he did or didn't. He made mistakes, yeah he did, but he also did a lot of good. He was really a good man at heart. I think he got in trouble for saying the N-word or something. Maybe he got caught on camera saying that at some point, but that doesn't make him racist. It was a poor lapse of judgment. Maybe he was around the wrong type of people. There's my little girl right here. Everybody's falling short, though. I've said worse stuff than that, and I guarantee you there's people watching right now that said worse stuff than that. You know, I mean, I'm not trying to downgrade what that was, but you have to forgive the man, and it doesn't make him evil. You know, it was a bad thing to judgment, and I don't think he was racist because he helped The Rock out become a superstar. You know, he helped mentor that guy. If he was racist, do you think he would have done that? I don't think so. A true racist would have never helped a man of color get over and you know, mentor him. He would have just left him to himself. My personal opinion. And then, you know, he got baptized about a year ago. It was a little over a year ago maybe he got baptized, and he followed through, did what he needed to do. Quit it. She just keeps on trying to bite or something, make noises, and it's distracting me. But he did. He followed what he followed, you know, and I'm glad. That was the greatest accomplishment, as far as I'm concerned, he ever did. Was finally got baptized and spoke about it. and was showing people the way towards the end of his life. So God gave him that little bit of time left to actually to make up and to use his superstar status to prove the world that that's what we need to do in order to get to heaven. And so I'm just, I'm very proud of him for that. That was a better accomplishment than any of the. I've just been watching the films because it broke my heart to hear it because I knew he had just got baptized. I was working in the hospital. I remember where I was at when I heard it. He was working in the hospital. Quit it. He was working in the hospital. I was working in the hospital when I found out, and it was a happy day for me to realize that one of my childhood heroes had stepped up the plate and got baptized. I didn't know if he had or hadn't. I knew he seemed like he was a good man that made some bad mistakes, that cost him a lot of money and cost his reputation and caused people to hate him. But then day he was my favorite. Probably he was my favorite wrestler of all time. I grew up watching him. So it didn't matter what. He couldn't ever do no wrong, and I think that's the way we're supposed to look at each other. Like I looked at Hulk Hogan, like, he just couldn't do no wrong, even though he did do wrong, That's the way God looks at us. I always forgave him for whatever, just stuff you've seen in the news and stuff. You don't never know if all that stuff's true or not. You don't know the whole story. A lot of times you just hear a little piece of the story. And, if anybody wants to bring up my past and bring up things I've done, then people would say you don't need to watch that guy. He's a hypocrite. Well, I'm not a hypocrite because I tell you that I'm not a perfect person, and I never will be. I'm perfect through Christ, through the baptism, and that's how I get to heaven. That's how Hulk Hogan is getting to heaven, is through the baptism that took place. And I just pray that anybody that has not did that takes a step of faith, and they go out and they can get a hold of me. I can do it, or get a hold of a church that really truly teaches that and believes in that, and doesn't believe in this. You got to go through all these little steps and stuff to get saved, because it's not. It's as easy as asking somebody that has already been saved, asking somebody that's already been saved to go baptize you, that knows what they're doing. It's really not that hard. I mean, there's different stories in the Bible where it's like, that people just tiptoe around and they say this sinner's prayer is the way, and like the baptism is just a step of faith. But I know I'm rambling, but I did feel like I need to speak on Hulk Hogan and like the tragic thing of what people were saying about the guy. Don't be talking about people. It's not your place to say. I seen somebody say, "Oh, I would hate for you liking him. I hate to be sitting by you in church because you'd be struck by lightning." I'm like, that ain't your place. And God don't do that. That's that fear mongering stuff that gets people out of church. Oh, God's gonna strike. No, God ain't gonna strike nobody with lightning unless he just wants to. It's like you can't cause that to happen. You can't bring this lightning upon me or upon anybody. And you can't say that God is going to do that. It's like it's not up to you. God don't make a habit of strike. I mean, how many people you hear get struck by lightning? I mean, that's just stupidity. That's people being stupid and petty and believing that they are better than everybody else. And that's just not the case. I never will be, and never claim to be that. I said I'm an Allen Iverson and Billy Graham, Kobe Bryant, or all these other preachers. I mean, I feel like that I am good at what I do. I just don't practice like everybody. I do practice on being a better man, but as far as reading this book, man, I'm ashamed because I'm just not reading it like I should. I'm not, I don't get a pen and paper and write down. All this stuff is freestyle. Everything you get from me is come from me reading this. Sometimes I've read stuff 3 times, but it hardly ever happens. It's not happened a long time where I've read it even 3 times. I don't write no notes, don't do nothing. it's just I pray to God every time I get up here that He speaks through me, and it happens. And I'm very thankful that God's the one guiding me. That's why I know what I say is real, because it ain't me doing this. God's using a very imperfect person that should not be up here. I seen something today. It was a meme that God don't like pick the person that's ready, or this the world basically thinks is the person that's supposed to be. God will anoint the person that's like least likely. I mean, that's the way He did with a lot of the people in the Bible. I mean, Paul, for instance, he was wasn't the candidate at all. Nobody would expect to be chosen. David, when he fought Goliath, I mean, there's just all kind of different scenarios in the Bible. God comes to us, to weak, beaten up people, and gives us strength to do His work. If you're one of them people that's weak and beaten up and don't think you're good enough, don't ever think that, because God can do anything He wants to do with anybody. And I just want to tell each one of y'all I love y'all, and y'all keep Hogan's families in prayers. And if you like what you seen, like, share, and subscribe. Until next time, have a blessed night.